think now is a good time for us to discuss something that we maybe should have started with. Why sales? I'm going to dig into why I chose sales, why you might choose sales, and then why sales is important to your business, what it is, what it can do, and what it isn't able to do, and what you shouldn't expect from it. Let's dig into it. So let's start off with the personal. So, like, why did I get into sales? Okay, for me, getting into sales was a pretty natural endeavor. It actually sort of played on everything that I had picked up and that I had learned as a police officer on the street, and it allowed me to expand my research and expand doing what it was on that career that I like doing, which was basically working with people and talking with people and making sure that I was helping as many people as possible. So there was the personal aspect of it, and then the other of it was that I was an outside cat by that point. I could not sit in an office and just be in one place for a long time. I was used to being able to go out and get in my car and drive around, even though, I might not have had a huge district that I could drive around in. I could at least go out and do what I wanted. So I knew getting into it that I did not want a career that was going to put me in a place where I had to be all the time. So it was really important to me to get out into the world and be able to move around and be in different places. But the other thing that it also allowed me to do was it allowed me to play in business with somebody else's money. So I knew I didn't necessarily want to jump right into starting my own business because I really didn't know that much about it. Even though it sounded like a great idea, I didn't know enough about it to jump in it on my own. I wanted to sort of play around and learn from things. And I found that sales was a perfect way to do that because I came in as basically number two at my first place. And I got a lot of time talking with the business owner, talking about strategy, talking about where we should go from here and what's working and what's not working. So it was a great way to sort of dip my toe into the business ownership world without having to worry about having my own finances on the other side of it. But now that I brought up finances, let's do talk about one thing that's not necessarily great about sales, and that is commission structure. And I could do an entire another video about how commission structure works and a lot of the different techniques that companies will use to try to milk as much as they can out of this, which they should. It's not necessarily evil of them, but at the same time, you as a business person need to understand how your specific structure works and whether or not it makes sense for you. And if it doesn't, you need to make sure that you find a firm or a business or something like that that will give you the commission structure that actually helps out with you. There are people out there that pay their commission or pay their salespeople a salary, and that's what they get, and that's perfectly fine. It depends on what the individual salesperson actually is looking for. Now let's talk a little bit about why you might want a career in sales, because there are a few reasons. Let's say that you have an innovative spirit and you want to get out into the world and you want to see what works next. You want to lend your expertise or your knowledge or your skill or even just your time in figuring things out. You want to lend that out into the world. Sales is a great vehicle for that because you get to be at the cutting edge, at the edge of what is possible for it. You can go and work for a small business. Maybe they don't have a very mature structure as far as their business is concerned, and you want to get involved at that level. If you're a lifelong learner, sales is a great place for you to start because you're constantly going to have to be honing your skills to make sure that you're staying relevant, not only in whatever service or technology or product that you're selling, but also in the industry that you're selling in, and then also just in the techniques of selling itself. A lot of things have come along that have changed the way that things have worked in sales. Just in the 10 years that I've been doing it, everything has been changing. So it's constantly going to be something that's moving and shaking. And that brings me to my third point. If you're interested in a lot of things, one of my favorite sayings is if you're going to be interesting, you have to be interested. So you have to be interested in a lot of different stuff. You have to be a person who wants to go out there and learn about a bunch of different things so that you can walk into a room and talk to a group of industry experts just about basically anything. And you have to be interested to hear their stories on all of those things as well. Now, let's look at it from a business standpoint, if we could. All right. As a business owner myself, I understand that you should hire a salesperson first, someone to bring in revenue, not someone to take out revenue. So, a little personal story. When I first got into the insurance world, the company that I was working for, they wanted us to hire what's called a CSR, a person inside the the building who's going to be handling those phone calls for you on a day-to-day basis, going to be handling some of the ad changes and moves. Now, don't get me wrong, I found a great girl to help me with this, and she was awesome. But at the same time, I now know I probably should have duplicated myself, actually. I probably should have spent a little more time learning the business and its inner workings and then duplicated so that I could have somebody else that was out there bringing money in rather than just an asset that was helping me save my time so that I could spend more time on the business. What they really should have said is if you want to hire a CSR, great, but you need to be making up for that time selling and going out there and getting into the world. There was so many regulations and things that I had to learn about the insurance world and about being a business owner that's where I spent my time, and it didn't increase revenue, and that's the first thing that you want it to do. The second thing that sales can do is it can introduce the next generation of leadership. A lot of the times, the people who you bring in and come in close to the mix are your salespeople, and they are out there actively pressurizing the brand. If you're just starting off, you're the only person who's ever done that. You're the only person who's ever tried to grow your business in a lot of ways. And your salesperson is going to come in and they're going to do that too. So a lot of the times it's not uncommon to see your sales people rise up into the rank to leadership. And so it's important that you understand that getting into hiring your first business development people. At the same time, that archetype of person in a lot of cases is going to be the type of person who wants to move up in the ranks and wants to help out more and more throughout time. Another aspect of it is if you are stagnant in a specific model, meaning that you're stuck in a certain territory, you're stuck inside of a certain industry, bringing in a business developer, bringing in a salesperson can actually change the direction and move into new directions. So maybe you're just in one place. Say you're in the St. Louis market, but you know that your services can be available in Chicago. Well, it's a great idea to bring in a business developer to specifically design and work on that specific territory and get out there and just basically conquer that world. So you're duplicating yourself. You still get to hang out and do all the work that you were doing in the St. Louis market, but they're out there, they're expanding the horizons, they're looking in new directions. Maybe it's even a new industry that you didn't know about. And a business developer comes in and starts looking at it and goes, well, hey, wait, why aren't you doing this thing that's just a small pivot from what it is you're doing now? So it can really be an eye-opening experience to push you and your business into a new direction. All right, let's talk about what business development or a sales team isn't. They're not a business analyst team, okay? I think that a lot of people expect them to be. They can't really steer your company unless you give them that weight, unless you give them that ownership and leadership capability to say, where are we going to go next? If you're just trying to get somebody who will broaden the market or get more dollars in the door, you need to be specific about your particular hiring. You want to make sure that you're not looking for an innovator, you're not looking for anything like that. You're looking for somebody who will do more of the exact same thing that you're doing. And a lot of that comes to training. A lot of it comes to making sure that your communication with that person is perfect and making sure that you're helping them succeed. The last word of caution is definitely a bit of a gray area, but sales is not marketing. If you hire a salesperson and expect them to be able to run your social media or all of your marketing campaigns perfectly, then you might be overstepping what that specific salesperson can do. These two categories, while they do have a lot of overlapping, there is definitely a mix of what they are and what they are not. So make sure you know what you're looking for before you actually get there. A good salesperson can definitely help you with some marketing and they can even steer in the right direction. But in order to really get that good campaign method, you want to make sure that you are hiring the right person for that job. So maybe you do want to look for somebody with a more marketing background rather than a sales background, if that's your particular goal. So those are some of the ways that hiring a salesperson or bringing on some more salespeople can definitely help with your business. Or if you're looking at that field, how it can help you personally, and a little bit about why I chose it as well. If you like that and you're interested in learning more, I've got a great website which is linked below where you can learn some free help from the rest of the videos inside of my channel. You can get some help from a book that I wrote, which is a beginner's guide to sales, or we have the option for some coaching and some executive stuff that we can do inside of your business, basically helping you with strategy. So go to the website below, check it out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help out the algorithm. They love that, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.